Steve McQueen, the king of cool. His name alone conjures images of roaring engines, effortless style, and a rebellious glint in the eye. But behind the legend, he was a father. What was it like growing up as Terry and Chad McQueen, children of one of the biggest movie stars on the planet? From film sets and fast cars to personal triumphs and heartbreaking tragedies, their stories are about forging identities in the colossal shadow of a legend. Number 2. Terry McQueen. Born on June 5, 1959, right in Los Angeles as her dad's star was taking off. Poignantly, she was named after him. Steve's given first name was Terrence, forging an immediate deep link. Her mother was the talented actress and dancer, Neela Adams. Growing up, McQueen was a whirlwind. Steve's own childhood was incredibly tough, abandoned by his father, with a mother who struggled with alcoholism. He was largely raised by relatives. This likely fueled his famous rebellious streak and his complex personality. Neela Adams brought a different cultural background from her upbringing in the Philippines. Their marriage from 1956 to 1972 was passionate but notoriously difficult, eventually ending in divorce. Steve's womanizing was a major issue. Neela even wrote in her memoir about a terrifying incident where Steve, under the influence, held a gun to her head while Terry and her younger brother Chad were reportedly asleep in the next room. While they might not have witnessed that exact moment, that kind of volatility in the home undoubtedly cast a long shadow. Despite the turmoil, Neela was a rock, and Steve, in his own way, seemed determined to give his kids experiences he never had. Terry would later say that after her father's death, she had to grow up very fast, hit with a lot of adult decisions. It speaks to a resilience possibly forged early on. She was described by an author who knew the family as a sweet and warm person, a gentle spirit. Terry didn't just live off the family name, she aimed to make her own mark. By 1980, the year her father died when she was just 21, Terry already owned a film production company based in Malibu. This showed incredible ambition and an entrepreneurial drive. While she did appear on screen, it was mostly as herself in documentaries about her father, like Hollywood Greats, Steve McQueen, Man on the Edge, and Steve McQueen, the King of Cool. It seems her public role was often as a commentator on the McQueen legacy. One passion she clearly shared with her father was a love for cars. Steve McQueen's obsession with automobiles and motorcycles is legendary. When he died, Terry inherited his 1969 Porsche 911, a potent symbol of that shared interest. She didn't just passively own it, she became an advocate for classic cars and their preservation, participating in automotive events. It was her way of connecting with her father's legacy on her own terms. On a personal note, Terry married Dennis Jerome Flattery on May 25, 1985, though they later divorced. Together, they had one child, a daughter named Molly McQueen Flattery, born in 1987. Molly, Steve McQueen's granddaughter, plays a key role today in carrying on both her mother's and grandfather's legacies as a beneficiary of the Terry McQueen Testamentary Trust. Tragically, Terry's life was cut short. In her later years, she faced a serious health crisis requiring a liver transplant. The specific illness leading to this was kept private, a stark contrast to her father's very public battle with cancer. On March 19, 1998, Terry Leslie McQueen passed away in Los Angeles from respiratory failure shortly after the transplant. She was only 38 years old. Her mother, Neela Adams, had to endure the unimaginable pain of outliving her daughter. Number 1. Chad McQueen, born on December 28, 1960 in Los Angeles. Growing up as Steve McQueen's son meant an extraordinary, often nomadic childhood. Chad called it a little gypsy boy existence as the family traveled globally for his father's film shoots, from Taiwan to France. His sister Terry was his constant companion on these adventures. Like Terry, Chad benefited from his father's determination to be a present parent, in stark contrast to Steve's own absent father. This meant an unparalleled immersive education in filmmaking and, crucially, motorsports. The racing bug bit Chad early and hard. By 9, he was on dirt bikes, winning his class at the World Mini Grand Prix. A defining moment was the 1970 filming of his father's passion project, Le Mans. For months, young Chad lived and breathed racing, tearing around on go-karts, and even sitting in his dad's lap in a thundering Porsche 911. Steve wasn't just a bystander. He actively coached Chad, offering tips like, "You can go in deeper here." When his parents divorced and Steve began his high-profile relationship with Ally McGraw, Chad famously chose to live with his dad, declaring, "I'm going where the action is." Chad stepped into acting with early roles like the 1978 film Skateboard. But it was his portrayal of the menacing Cobra Kai member Dutch in the 1984 blockbuster, The Karate Kid, and its 1986 sequel, The Karate Kid Part 2, that made him a pop culture icon of the 80s. That sneer in lines like, "Your dead meat were unforgettable." The role had such an impact that the creators of the Cobra Kai revival series later made multiple attempts to get Chad to reprise Dutch. His acting career then largely veered into direct-to-video action films like Martial Law, Death Ring, and Firepower, where his martial arts skills, honed under Chuck Norris, were put to good use. He even produced some of these films, like Red Line and Fall, The Price of Silence, his final credited acting role in 2001. But Chad was clear, "I didn't find acting fun anymore." He also notably turned down roles and remakes of his father's classics, like The Blob and a TV pilot of Bullet, choosing to sidestep direct comparisons. Racing was his true north. He competed professionally in the Sports Car Club of America, SCCA, tackling motocross, the Baja 1000, and even the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona. In 2004, he had a great run at the SCCA National Championship runoffs, winning multiple events. But in January 2006, during practice for the Rolex 24 at Daytona, Chad suffered a catastrophic crash. He broke his lower left leg, vertebrae, multiple ribs, punctured a lung, and had critical bleeding on his brain, leading to a 3.5-week coma. His wife, Jeannie Galbraith, advocated for experimental surgery, knowing Chad would rather be dead than paralyzed. The crash ended his professional driving career, though his spirit remained unbroken, even returning to Daytona to thank the medics who saved his life. In January 2010, Chad founded McQueen Racing, LLC. Its mission: develop high-performance custom cars and motorcycles, and preserve his father's incredible automotive legacy. They partnered with companies like Steeda to create limited-edition McQueen F-150s and Mustangs. His son, Chase, and daughter, Madison, are now at the helm of McQueen Racing, carrying that passion forward. Chad was also a dedicated custodian of his father's memory through film. He executive produced the documentaries I Am Steve McQueen 2014 and the acclaimed Steve McQueen, The Man, and Le Mans 2015. The latter was particularly important to Chad, aimed at vindicating his father's artistic vision for the often misunderstood racing epic. Earlier in 2001, he produced and hosted Filming at Speed, the making of the movie Le Mans, winning a Telly Award. He also cherished and maintained some of his father's most iconic cars, including the 1958 Porsche 356, Speedster, Steve's first new car, and the 1969 Porsche 911S that had belonged to Terry. Personally, Chad was married twice, first to Stacia Toten, with whom he had his son, actor Stephen R. McQueen, known for The Vampire Diaries. His second marriage was to Jeannie Galbraith, with whom he had Chase and Madison. He was also a grandfather. Echoing his father's spirit, Chad was deeply involved with the California Boys Republic. a school for troubled youth that Steve credited with turning his own life around. Chad spearheaded the Friends of Steve McQueen car and motorcycle show, raising millions for the institution, a legacy his children now continue. Chadwick Stephen McQueen passed away on September 11, 2024, at his ranch in Palm Desert, California, at age 63. The cause was organ failure, reportedly linked to complications from a fall in 2020 that exacerbated his earlier racing injuries. He was surrounded by his family. Tributes poured in from his children remembering a loving father, to the Cobra Kai creators hailing Dutch as a legend. An episode of Cobra Kai Season 6 was dedicated to his memory, with the fitting tribute, Cobra Kai Never Dies. Both navigated the immense pressures and privileges of their heritage, each finding their own way to honor the McQueen name while writing their own distinct chapters. Their stories are a powerful look at family, resilience, and the enduring echo of a true Hollywood icon.